Hello, I'm Tyrrell Brabazon. I'm the Dean of Graduate Research at Flinders University, and welcome to Vlog 49, The Alice Does Doctorates. And yes, I'm in Alice Springs, and yes, I have a friend with me. He's a friend I've known for a long time. He was one of the first people I met when I took on this job as Dean. His name is Tyrrell, and we have so much to share about this great man and this great PhD student who's been in the Alice 7 years?
No, I've been in the Alice 30 years.
30 years, but at Flinders?
I've been doing my PhD for 7 years. Yeah.
We'll talk about that shortly, but you've been in the Alice 30?
Well, I came in '86, yeah.
And where did you come from? I've never asked him this question before.
I came from Tamworth, New South Wales. I was at a regional job down there with mental health, being a clinical psychologist, and I had a sheep farm. I was breeding rams, and I built a house, a solar house. And then I thought, I'm going to be here when I'm 59 if I don't watch it. I better think of something else. And I opened the Weekend Australia, and there was the job, Regional Director of Health, Alice Springs. Yeah.
Isn't life astounding?
It was amazing. Synchronous.
It was a synchronous experience,
synchronous.
And also a really powerful one. And as you can see, Mike I adore. And some of you who have been with us through the vlog series will remember that Mike is the one that suggested that we do that fantastic vlog on families and the PhD. And he got a shout out. He also got a shout out to his wonderful partner, Barbara, who I've just found out you guys got married.
Yeah, we got married just before Christmas.
And how long have you been together?
Oh, 26 years.
Welcome to the Alice. So, Barbara, we're going to talk about how fabulous you are and what you've done for this wonderful man. But this is a great experience because PhDs and a PhD program is filled with great personalities and great people like this. And every PhD program has, every one of you have a different PhD, and Mike's has been a very, very special one. And yes, he has completed the PhD in the Northern Territory, and yes, in the Alice. So, Mike, we've already talked a little bit about you coming here, but tell us about the job you do for Flinders University. So you're employed by the institution.
No, I'm not employed by the institution.
I'm not doing well here at all.
No, see, the one surprise after another.
You are?
Yeah, exactly.
Tell us about your work in the gated community.
In the gated community?
You go through the big gate and you go to your building?
Yeah, well, I don't work in Flinders as an employee, and I certainly don't get paid by them, unfortunately, although they did give me a little scholarship for a while.
Right.
Which was very welcome. But I've had the privilege, actually, of doing my PhD at Centre for Remote Health, which is a campus of Flinders and Charles Darwin, joint campus.
Nice one.
Yeah. John Wakeman was the director. In 2004, I went to see him, and I said, I got an idea. I'm heading for retirement, and I've got a question I want answered, and maybe there's a PhD in it. And he listened carefully, and John Wakeman and I go back a long way when he was the district medical officer and I was in health. And in fact, I think I recruited him.
Life is weird, right?
Anyway, he said, well, that's a damn fine idea, let's do it, which shocked me a bit. This is in 2004, but I hadn't retired from my private practice at that stage. Well, I still haven't from my private practice. But then my dear partner Barbara had an accident and became semi-quadriplegic.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
you're a star, Barb.
That was only a couple of months afterwards. So that set us back a tad.
Right.
So I didn't really think about it for 5 years, but Barbara, being the stalwart that she was, did an enormous amount of rehab, but is walking now quicker than I can walk sometimes, using a walker, but very, very agile, and a swimmer and a yoga exponent. And so 5 years later, I went to John again and said, is it still on? I saw a scholarship for PhD in the local paper, Flinders, and I said, that's mine. I went and saw him, he said, yes, you're on.
Boom.
So just like a speeding bullet, I was in.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, in 2010, the 2nd of February 2010. And so we started. But of course, the old expression, fools rush in. None of us really knew what the task was going to involve. It's been a fabulous task, but a big task.
Because I was going to ask you what, people come to PhDs for all sorts of reasons, don't they, Mike? And at different stages of our life, we're after different things. So what was the trigger post Barb's accident and illness and recovery and rehab? What was the trigger that said now is the time and I want to do it? Why did you want to do a PhD? What was the push?
Well,
the topic?
Unfinished business and the topic. I was going to do one in 1969-70, but I postponed that to chase after my future wife, with whom I had a family.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and we're still talking.
There's a lot of women narratives that are going through your life there, Mike.
Anyway, we tracked each other down over in Germany, and so I postponed my PhD, which in those days was a pretty boring one. It was nothing to do with this, it was to do with visual perception.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And but it was always there. I thought my mum used to say, Michael, you should be an academic. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very good life. So my mother had died by then, but I thought, well, I really should do that. And at the same time, I developed a need to answer the question, do you really need to be a missionary, a mercenary, or a misfit to thrive in the bush as a health practitioner? Because in New Guinea, when I went up there in the 70s, everyone said to me, what are you, mate, a missionary, mercenary, or a misfit? Oh. And I said, well, probably a bit of all of those things. I'm not sure, I'll think about it.
And of course that became the title of the thesis, isn't it?
Well, I think I have to have a more serious title, but that'll be the subtitle.
Well, I was going to say it also will be the title of the book that we may get into, but that's a whole other thing. So we are going to get into this doctorate. Now, tell us about the doctorate, and it does have an Alice flavour. It is an amazing place to live and work. I am so happy to have come back after all these years and meet all these wonderful people. So tell us about the thesis, and tell us about the flavour.
It's a very exciting place. What I determined to find out was what were in fact the motivations behind health practitioners who choose the very remote Indigenous community work. Yeah. Because it's hard work, real hard work, it's isolated work, it's risky work, it's hot work, and so on. Yeah. Why do they do it? Why do people choose to do that? Yeah. So I look in and of course in the old days, missionary, mercenary, misfit was probably well-found. Missionaries did do that work because they had a mission. The mercenaries, some of them probably got paid better than they could get paid anywhere else, and there were plenty of misfits to gravitate out to the outer regions. But these days it's quite different, with the internet, with fantastic four-wheel drives, with air conditioning when you get there, security, fabulous communications. You don't need to be, you can be there for other reasons other than the 3 M's. Yeah. So I wanted to know what they were, because as a health administrator, I used to say, how do you recruit these people? How do you choose them?
Great question.
Yeah. And they say, the answer was, if they can stick their right arm up in the air, we'll give them a job, which in fact wasn't true. But they used to use, they used to use intuition, I think. Yeah. They certainly didn't use the sorts of things I was brought up to use in the Public Service Board in Canberra when I worked there for a short time. Rigorous selection procedure. Anyway, so I did that. So I started to research it, and I decided to build a scale of motivation, a health practitioner motivation scale.
This is brilliant, Mike.
So that employers could use that scale by shooting it off over the internet to prospective applicants for jobs in the bush, and have a look and then fill it out. 2 values there. One is they are really required to think, well, what the hell am I really doing wanting this job? And 2, the employer gets back the pattern of motivations as the person's completed it, and they can compare that pattern with the statistics around retention.
This is huge. This is huge.
Well, it did turn out to be huge.
Which we'll get to in 1 second, but this is a big issue. You know, I used to work in rural regional education,
Yes.
of course, that was my last gig, and we used to refer to the rural regional remote churn. So the teachers would come in and be gone 6 months later. And no matter what we did in teacher education, in Dubbo, you can't prepare them for working in Broken Hill and beyond.
No,
you can't.
You can't.
But something like this would help us provide that reflexive mechanism for an array of professions, I think.
I think so. I think it could.
This is huge.
Yeah.
Now, we have discussed the good and the ill of this thesis. It has been going for a while, and I have been nagging you for a while, and Barbara's been nagging you for a while. And so could you tell us the good and ill of what's happened? So for other interested punters, what has gone incredibly well, and what were the challenges that happened on the way through, Mike?
Okay. Well, I think the challenges were first to devise a survey, well, first to learn how to do scale development.
Yeah, so technical
I
expertise.
attended Julie Ballan's scale development thing with Axbury. She's a magnificent teacher, and she's helped me since, on an hourly basis with bits and pieces. So she's been an absolute goldmine, and but it's complex. You set up a survey with about 4 times as many items as you want to finish with.
Right.
You do the survey, you factor analyse till you're blue in the face, and you gradually distill out the components, which are subscales that you're looking for, that are concentrated versions of the survey that you send out, which was on why would you want that sort of job. Yeah.
So there was the technical skills you had to gain before you could even really start the research. So that was it.
Learn how to do it.
Yeah, to learn how to do it. And that happens to a lot of people. That slowed you down.
Yeah.
What else happened that was good or bad on the way through?
I don't know if it was good or bad, but it was a huge amount of work to analyse 547 times 140 items, which is and factor out and to learn how to do it. Of course, the last time I'd done statistics, I was using the slide rule back in '68, and
I love you, Mum.
And SPSS hadn't been invented. Well, not that I knew of anyway. So I had to learn about SPSS stats. I had to learn about working a computer to do something other than writing a clinical report, and I had to learn how to apply all that to doing the job, which Shirley was very helpful with, and my supervisors were helpful in various ways. So the setback was that I had to learn as I went, and I certainly did. I've been on a learning curve for 7 years, even until Monday night when I put the thing in to the editor. I was learning about managing large documents, because you can't, when you're an old bugger, you can't learn these things until you do it. You've got to learn by doing.
That's how everybody learns.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's an amazing story. I mean, it's hard yakka. The story you've just told there is, this is hard yakka. This PhD has been really hard yakka, and what you've created, I think, will be transformative for regional remote Australia and beyond. Now, you've already mentioned something very special happened on Monday night. Barbara's nagging and my nagging appears to have worked in that on Monday night you uploaded what is in effect your final draft into a Dropbox. So all of you out there, how amazing is this? So Monday night, the document
for editing
went up. Now, how did that feel, and what was the couple of weeks before that like?
A couple of weeks before that was exceedingly neurotic. I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't put it down, and it was how I imagined someone having quadruplets, would be with a delayed birth.
Right.
That's how I imagine it would be, something like that. Very edgy.
Very edgy.
Very edgy, and but still getting a lot done, but not a lot of anything else done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to see my backyard or the inside of my car.
Yes, but personal hygiene has been excellent from what I've heard as well. So where were we? Just on how did it feel to upload that document?
It felt fabulous, of course.
Yeah.
But even now, I'm not quite relaxed because I haven't heard back from the person who I'm trusting has received it.
So you are using an editor. So you are using
the professional.
Yes, using a professional editor.
Yeah.
And so you're a bit nervous about how they'll handle the script.
No, I'm a bit nervous they haven't got it yet because they're not answering my emails to say yes, thank you, I've got it, and we're doing it.
Should we pick up the phone?
Yeah, that's happening this afternoon.
We might do that this
I'll
afternoon.
give them 2 days.
But can I just say what an incredible achievement that is? I mean, Mike, I'm so happy for you. In fact, when I arrived and I saw you on Tuesday morning, I was like actually crying because I was so overwhelmed and overjoyed and happy for you.
You and Barb, actually.
Yeah, the pair of us. I know we're like married in a previous life, I'm sure, or related to you in some form.
Yeah.
Last question that is really important to me. You and I have committed a lot of our lives to rural, regional, education, health, development, broadly defined. What would you say to all the guys and gals out there in the Alice, Darwin, the Territory and beyond, but in the regions around the world, who are thinking that they might do a PhD? What would you say to them to help them on their journey and learn from yours?
I'd say, fabulous, do it, but do it, and not but, and make sure you don't make my mistake, which was to go easy on your supervisors because you were sympathetic to overwork, work them hard, and probably try and develop a contract with your supervisors at the beginning, a written contract. This is what I'll do, what are you going to do? Where's your strengths? Where's your weaknesses? What can I rely on from you? Because it's easy to, especially as an older person like me, you've got to learn to be humble again and say, I don't know, tell me how to do it. And that's hard to do when you're
and a professional, had a great successful career
when
and multiple
you've been telling
ones.
people what to do for the last 40 years. It's hard to do. I don't know, show me. And so in other words, work your supervisors and try and get one supervisor at least that's an expert, not only in supervision but in what you're studying.
So a content expert,
a content expert,
as much as a form, understanding the scholarship, the nature of the thesis.
And doing it at a distance, that's not always possible, in that you can't have a local one necessarily, like here, but usually there's an expert somewhere in Australia you can plug into.
And the other question I was going to ask of you, Mike, too, is over the 7 years of this thesis, technology has improved enormously, particularly visual sonic technology has improved, and so the capacity to use Skype. But have you noticed a change, an improvement over those 7 years in supervision and what can happen in a place like Alice?
I've noticed with other people what could happen. I haven't used that myself because my supervisors were all local except one, and Julie Bland's my coach, not a supervisor, and we don't Skype, we do email. But it's very, very good, very effective for that sort of material.
That is fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I can hear you applauding through the internet for this wonderful man. Mike, I adore you. I think you're an amazing human being.
He's a gentleman.
Oh, love you. I loved having you in my office. Steve was with us. You met Steve as well that first day. When I told Steve last night that I was talking to you today and that you basically submitted on Monday, he was as emotional as I was. This means everything. It also captures, I think, what can happen in a great place like the Alice. When you've got a great man, a great topic and a great place, you've got a bloke with commitment and brilliance and energy and ideas, and great stuff happens here. Mike, you're a legend.
Thank you very much, and you're a wonderful energy for us.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Done.
Cheers.
Done.
Yeah.
You did it!